I should have known better that Mason wouldn't be a strong father figure. My first hint should have been when they first came to me looking to adopt. I clearly remember Mason asking if they could purchase a few kids. I just never clued in, but again, it could have been the medication I was abusing.
When Dex, Dad, and I were 4, Mason decided to leave. He wanted to pursue his dream of becoming a professional post hole digger. It was a very, very emotional time. You know, I just don't think that Mason was really prepared to deal with children. And I don't blame him. And I don't even hate the bastard. For me, I just didn't understand.
With Mason leaving, Cynthia was forced to work 2 jobs to support the young family. On weekends, she worked at the Roadkill Grill, while during the week, it was shaving seniors' legs at Liver Spot's senior home.
It was a pain in my ass working 2 jobs. I barely even had any social life. I think if Mason hadn't been driven from my house, my life would have been different.
There's no doubt in my mind it was hard for those 3 guys. I mean, there was next to nothing for parental support. And Cynthia underneath it all partly blamed them for Mason leaving.
I never blamed the kids. Only for the first 10 years, then I got over it.
Time passed, and when Dex, Dove, and Dud turned 5, they began school at Leroy's Elementary.
Back in. Let's have off. Maybe do to like a pencil to pop. But they're already great one. And I didn't know what they wanted to do with their lives. And to me that seemed a little unusual. Most kids, by the time they're in grade 1, they have a pretty good idea. What they want to do after they're done grade 12.
I met Dex, Dove, and Dud back in 1st grade. They seemed really good guys, you know, easy to get along with. They never really seemed to fall into place in school, though. So sometimes I wonder if I was, you know, their only real friend.
This is how I spent most of my elementary days. Oh yeah. Throwing punches, inventing the art of recess scrapping. Oh, I can knock out Mike Tyson in 10 seconds flat. Oh yeah, better believe it, that's what I did to other students. Muhammad Ali, got nothing on me.
That's what I had as well. He seemed to think that punching people was the proper way to release emotion. Actually, all 3 of them had difficulties.
Yeah, I was a little slow in school. I like the letters D and F quite a bit.
I don't blame others for the jokes and the hardship. I've always been a different sort of individual, on the interior and the exterior. In school, I chose to focus on literature, you know, instead of social skills with my other peers. I just don't think they really understood me.
The brothers managed to pass through junior high and on to high school, where Dex enjoyed pulling pranks, and Dud continued to receive poor grades. As for Dove, he still managed to be bullied, while also meeting his current sweetheart.
We just kind of matched. I think I was attracted to Dove because he was sort of different. He wasn't like anyone else. He didn't have any friends. No one really liked him. All he ever did was sit in the back of class and write.
Forever, I'll cherish the day when Sharina and I met. And I remember exactly how it happened. It was at school, high school, and one day I found myself accidentally using the woman's washroom. And she came into the room, and I walked out of the stall, and we met, our faces met, and our eyes locked onto each other. And she stared at me, and I stared at her. And at first, I thought she was going to either, smack me or punch me or kick me in the balls or anything like that. I thought she was going to hit me. But instead, we just kind of connected. And I remember her reaching out towards me. And she reached down, and she slowly grabbed a piece of toilet paper that was sticking out of my pants that I'd forgot was even there. And somehow we just worked together as a whole, and here we are today. To me, she is something so pure in an unpure world.
Every time he tells that story, it makes me want to retch, see what I had for dinner the night before. My high school days were a lot cooler than that.
It was here, in this gymnasium, that Dex spent many useless hours pulling immature pranks and being penalized for his obnoxious behavior.
A bloody laughing riot it was. Dex used to hide behind these bleachers over here, the case of raw eggs. Oh man, he would throw them at players during volleyball and basketball games. Sometimes these dudes would look around and get nailed in the head by the ball. Oh. This is another prank I used to pull. Before the game, take a little bit of water. First person to come along and touch it, slipped, falls flat on their asses. Never failed.
Amazing. Like, that was a check on that fell. It was always in trouble. Actually, all three of them were like this in different ways. The next time, it was always in trouble. It was always in having problems. He didn't seem to have any friends. For the most part, he seemed like a recluse. And that, he just never seemed to care about anything. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Dex would have been like any other high school teenager. He didn't know what he wanted to do with his life, and he made a few stupid moves. Who really cares?
Grades. Who needs good grades in school?
Whenever I hear people talk about Dud's grades, I just don't think they see him for who he really is. He's bigger than an A+. He's so special and meaningful.
Those three all had their issues, really. And the truth is that Cynthia, their mother, if you can call her that, was never really around for them. I mean, Dex, Dove, and Dud had to learn things on their own. I mean, I can't believe that they graduated, let alone survived school.
All three of those boys have a fire in them, and I could see it from the first moment they came to me. Some guidance was all they needed.
What the hell could I do? I was working 2 jobs to put food on the table. Every time I came home, the school was calling me. I didn't have time to wipe their asses every time there was a problem. And as soon as they were 18, I made them find a place of their own and get out of the house. Had them take some responsibilities for themselves for a change.
The 3 brothers found an apartment and spent the next 2 years being their own individuals. Dex began working at Barney's Junk Food Shit, a nearby convenience store, while Dove continued to work on his literature, and Dud focused on his entrepreneurial venture.
For some reason, Dud started making these wooden canes and started selling them. He would use Cynthia's basement and work with some tools that Mason left behind, before he split. The canes really didn't actually look that bad.